Okay, hello. This is Melissa with Magic Money. I am a mom, I'm a wife. I am also a six-figure business owner, CEO to a company I built just 2 years ago. This past month, January, I made $70,000 in my business and I hit my first 4K day. So, uh, I like to talk about money. So let's get into it. I want to talk about today investing in yourself because what is so crazy, everything just works out in your favor all the time. This is a belief that I live by 100%. And I also live by the belief that we are constantly being shown signs, proof, and evidence that we are here to have fun, to play, that we are constantly divided. We are constantly guided by divine. That's what I wanted to say. Dividance, divine guidance, dividance. I think I made my own new word, dividance. Divine guidance, source, spirit, God, whatever you want to call it, energy. Mother Earth is a new one for me. Um, I've been doing a lot of thinking about God as mama. And I have my baby right here, so she's sleeping. It is so incredible to be able to stay home, run a business that I don't have to necessarily spend a lot of time on. Today we we sat outside because the weather was warm here in Illinois. It's a little bit chilly, but today was very warm. We sat outside. We played a bunch. I took a bath. I checked some emails here and there. Not really too much on my phone. I don't know if I did emails. I may have done a couple YouTube comments or Facebook comments. And I mostly just spent the day with my daughter, and this was my day that I got to have, and it's amazing. And 2 years ago, I was not in the like I had just started my business. I was in a toxic relationship, um, and to come full circle to be an amazing relationship with a beautiful baby, six figure business, making $70,000 a month. Like, what an amazing journey that I have been on, and it is so incredible and fantastic. And I now have my purpose and my desire to help share, what I have been able to do so that others can do it as well, because I am not special in that anyone can do what I have done. It doesn't matter the type of business, it doesn't matter whether you even have a business, what I do, how I have done what I have done, because this is what my magical life looks like. What I'm currently doing right now is what my magical life looks like. Your magical life could look completely different, but the principles and the things that I talk about, how I got to my magical life, anybody can use it for their own magical life, whatever your version of that magical life is. Okay. And that is why we are here on Magic Money, because it all kind of starts with the money. Because the money is the freedom to buy you the things you want to do. Like, I have the freedom um, to be free of the chores of my house. So one of the things is I have a person I pay who comes and cleans my house throughout the day, keeps things clean so I can focus on my baby and or my business. I have another person who, when I am focused on my business, she's focused on the baby. And what a privilege and a blessing to be able to have the resources to have support and help so that you can go about your day without worrying about all the things. Like, if I had to worry about all the things in my house that need to be kept and clean, especially with a small baby, if I worried about all the things related to my business, if I worried about all the things related to being a mother, there's a lot of things. Also taking care of myself, taking care of my husband, taking care of the dogs. Like, there's a lot going on. And by having created this business that I have, and with as much money as I have within the business, I'm able to hire people to take over things for me so that I can be the things I want to be, which is mama, wife, Melissa. I'm Melissa. Wife and Melissa are two different things. Like, that's what's so crazy is, like, you are so different, so many different things, right? There's so many different, ways of being that we may love to be and operate. And I don't, the way I am with David is not the way I am with the rest of the world. And so there is a distinguish between wife me and world me and sister me and mama me and all of these different things. Like, I sing weird songs to her. I don't sing weird songs to other people. Like, we have different versions of our life, and so many of us are trapped in the versions that other people set for us, such as like a boss or an employer. You have to look like this, you have to talk like this, you only get to make this much money, and then you've got to figure out what you're doing with the rest of your life while you have to be here with us for 8 hours a day. And I want to save people from that, of having to be forced into versions of themselves they don't like. I like being able to be all the things that make me me. I like having time to be just mama. I like having time to be just wife. I like having time to be just business runner. I like having time to be just Melissa and doing my thing. Like, I've ordered coloring books recently because I got Precious Moments once. Do you guys remember when I was a kid? Precious Moments was like amazing, and we had all of these coloring books, and I loved it. So I um, ordered some so I can just color and be myself. And this is also one of my mottos here. I remembered the day I prayed for what I have now, and this is actually behind my desk, so I get to see. If you're listening and you don't have video, I am standing in my office that is beautifully decorated, and it's actually the what I get to see while I'm working. So how I got here, part of how I got here, is something I want to talk about today, because, like I said earlier, there are always signs and indications that you are on the right path, that you are doing what you need to do, and that everything is good. I want to see if I can also reset my camera, seeing if everything is good. Um, and I knew today I had already committed to a training that I wanted to take. I knew about it last year, and what was so funny was I posted how $7,000 feels like pennies to me, and then the training that I wanted, I didn't know how much it was, and when I knew I wanted to sign up though, and so at the very end of like the phone call of talking with the training company, I was like, okay, they're gonna tell me the price, and I'm like, in my mind I was like, I'm willing to pay it no matter what. And they came back with $7,000 essentially. And I was like, I literally just said that $7,000 feels like pennies. I need to prove that that's my new frequency, like that's my new belief, that's what I'm radiating at. So when the thing that I want very much is only priced at pennies, of course I should buy it, of course I should take it. And that was to me a sign and evidence that I'm on the right track, that I'm doing what I need to do. So I got another sign and evidence today, because I wanted to also take up some additional training from another person. And I have already learned that I am my greatest asset. I learned that from the very jump of my business. And so investing in myself just makes the most sense. We generally have a really bad taste in our mouth from investing in ourselves when we think about school, because a lot of us go to college and we're still potentially even paying that off. And so this idea of like learning to do something in order to make money is kind of sucky. We're trapped in this cycle, and it hasn't really helped us. So when someone's like, well, I have a way to show you how I made money, and you can follow my system, and you pay money to get that, you can be nervous about spending that money. Is it actually going to work? What is the benefits to it? Will, like most of us are for, will it for sure work? We need it to work. We need it to work. And that energy shows up because schooling probably didn't work for you in the way that you wanted it to. And so investing in yourself can be quite scary, especially if you have leftover school and college trauma and student loan trauma. Um, so and then of course, when you have a chunk of money, or not a chunk of money, but when you have to spend money, right, you have to make decisions. Do I spend money in feeding myself, paying my bills? Do I have enough money to buy other things? And so many times we end up buying things that may entertain us, or bring us some joy, but they're not investing in ourselves, so that you can gain new skills, learn new things, be new ways. Like, I learn new ways of operating and being. It's not just about learning a strategy, but also just how I feel throughout my day and my life, and how things feel for me, how I get to have beautiful, I get to cultivate beautiful experiences in my life, so that I just feel good all day. Like, I felt good all day. And I even got to, like, this morning, almost every morning and every night, David and I say to each other, like, we just love our life. We just love our life. I work hard at making my life lovely. And if it's not lovely, I make it lovely so that I can live in loveliness. And that when I'm in the frequency of loveliness, it is attracting more loveliness. So even when I am not in something that is lovely, I do what I can to make it lovely. But that's a kind of a side tangent. That's the how do you become the version you want to be, is you have to be what they would be. So like when I think of, and I kind of talked about this last episode, when I think about the person who makes $100,000 a month version of me, that person enjoys their day. That person loves their home. That person, spends as much time with her baby as she wants to. Like those are the things that if in my mind I made $100,000, my life would look like blah 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 blah. And then I'm like, so how would she feel during these things? And then I do what I can in my current situation to feel as many of those feelings and to do as many of those things within my budget. So, budgeting for investing can be a little bit scary, circling back. And one of the first, and I've made investments where the money didn't immediately or any close near to what I intended happening. And I have a history of having spent multiple thousands of dollars in trainings with different people who offer, follow my system and make money, follow my system and you'll make money, follow my system and you'll make money. And we're attracted to, whichever ones we are. But the thing is we can all have our own way of making money, and you don't even have to have a business. There's so many different ways of receiving money within to your life, and ultimately the goal is not to worry about where and how the money shows up. The goal is to live and love your life, and then the money shows up. Like it's that simple, but we make it pretty hard. And when you begin to appreciate the life that you have around you and you make it lovely and you love your life, you vibrate much higher at a frequency that, and when we say vibe higher, like we have this traumatic view of low vibe and high vibe. We think it's so wrong and so bad. It's more like quiet and loud, but like in the opposite directions. Like there are certain when you're vibing higher, it's not to say that you're better. It's not, low vibes are not bad in a sense. They're just vibes. They're just letting you know where it is you're at. And most of the low vibes comes from you judging where you're at and thinking that it's bad. Like if you just accepted where you're at as what it is and didn't say this sucks or this is awful or this needs to change and I need to be different, like if instead you just said, I am exactly where I am, who I am, to be able to live the life that I want. Like if we just all kind of settled in that feeling, I'm exactly where I am, who I am, to live the life that I want. And then I start living the life that I want. So if I want a clean and beautiful house, I need to get everything put away. I need to get everything organized. I need to get everything clean and beautiful. And then I need to establish habits and routines that help me keep it clean and beautiful. And then if I don't want to do it myself, I need to enroll the help of people and or pay them. And I have a mix of all of that. I wash the dishes every single night, get them into the dishwasher. If I don't start the dishwasher, I tell David to start the dishwasher, even if it's not full. Habit is everything. So I know every morning we unload the dishwasher, every evening we put the food in there. If that is on routine, and I know as soon as I go in the kitchen, I make my coffee, I do breakfast, I put the dishes away. When you can autopilot things that always need to be done, right? Like it's kind of crazy. We can autopilot things that always need to be done by making them habits and a routine. You have more time for everything else. So I had a lot, like it wasn't difficult for me. I didn't always have somebody who came and cleaned the house for me. And only during the day. I still keep it clean at night, and I still do my stuff throughout the day to keep it clean. But I'm just, if I pick something out, I've got to put it away. If a sweater is not being used and it's laying on the chair, it needs to be hung up. And anything that can take less than 5 seconds, you do that thing. And so I'm always living in my moment and having way more moments because I take just a couple of seconds for things to be on autopilot throughout my day, and it makes everything else so much simpler and so much easier. It is much easier to function in a house where everything is put away, where everything has a home. Because then you, Zoo, no, 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 Zoo. Shh. It's so much easier to function. It's so much easier to function. And I believe it was a generational trauma of mine that we had family that had piles everywhere. And it made it hard to function. I mean, I didn't make, when I lived in a house where stuff didn't have a home, where things are, disorganized, where this is over there and that's over there and nothing's like put away, my mind doesn't work very well. And when I created an environment where that could happen, based on I would feel better if things were clean and organized. And I would feel like my home is lovely if things are clean and organized. So I need to do that with what I have now. I've lived in homes where I had, and this is a spiritual pressure cooker. Don't think that once you figure something out, you're done, you're good, right? There's still going to be things I need to learn about managing my time and keeping my house clean. Like for instance, um, I couldn't put anything away in our last house. Everything had to be out somewhere. There was no storage. There was nothing that we could do. There was just piles. And I'm like, and that to me was, I had in my mind nixed the fact that I had an issue with piles. Like I in Vegas in my condo, I kept everything clean. I kept everything organized. Everything was put away. Everything had a home, and my house finally got that. And it was I was kind of living in that for almost about a year, where it was clean and beautiful and organized, and I was thinking better, I was feeling better, like life was better. And uh, then I come to Illinois to live out here, and all of our options led to a place with absolutely no storage, and it was small, and it's two people's stuff, plus we're gonna have a baby and then two dogs. And it was like, this is not lovely, this is not lovely. And I actually did fall into a slight depression too. I was pregnant, my hormones were raging, I'm grieving the fact that I'll never not be a mother again. Like that version of me is gone. Every decision I make going forward is going to involve another person, and oh my gosh, if that ends up being really amazing, but it still also is a lot. And um, I was sleeping on the bed like all day. Oh, I'm tired. I'm pregnant. I just didn't feel good, and I was starting to think like sad, negative thoughts that didn't feel good, and I didn't like thinking them, but they just were in my head and on repeat. And I kept looking around like, well, I could fix this, but if I put, there's nowhere to put anything, and I just completely checked out there for a minute. And then I remembered I need to be grateful for what I have. And I need to appreciate what I have, because appreciation appreciates. And so I got out of bed. And it was probably it was no more than 3, maybe a week. I don't know. I don't remember time. I'm not very good with time. But I know that it wasn't like months by any means. It would have been a month or less than a month. And I decided one day that this is it. And I actually did my hair. Like part of the thing was, I wasn't bleaching my hair anymore, but I put a bunch of color in my hair. And I actually did my first TikTok video, like that I intentionally kind of made as a TikTok video. And how amazing that I'm realizing all these tweets just went through, if you just heard my phone, and they're all, every time that happens, like when I'm talking about something really crazy and powerful and awesome, and something that universe and God wants me to like remember, and like they're like, remember when? And then something happens in your life now, and you're like, oh, you just get, that's how appreciation appreciates. Like I'm able to look back and see all, like when I appreciated the things in my life, I'm able to see how it led to where I am today. So I made a decision. I got out of bed. I did my hair. That gave me that gave me a lift. That gave me a new spirit. Um, and then I started cleaning and organizing the house the best I could. We still had piles. We still had, you know, it it it, it was the toilet. I still had issues with the plumbing, right? So how blessed are we that we have indoor plumbing? Just boom, water's right there, and boom, my I'm able to let out my stuff, and someone else takes care of it. Like how amazing is that, right? We talked about, we were telling somebody how they used to just poop and pee in a bucket, and then you would dump the bucket out the window. Somebody had to carry that bucket and dump it out the window, and then they used to have to walk in it in their streets, and we just go and it's gone and it's done, and we don't appreciate it. Like, oh, this freaking toilet is taking forever. So one of the things that made me angry every day in that house until I started my appreciation practice. And you would hold the toilet down and it would not flush. Just didn't. It would take a long time. So it did flush. It just you had to hold it down and wait for a minute for that toilet to flush. And this is another point where, you know, you learn God, universe always has your back, because it was in that house that I got pregnant. No, or that I was living pregnant. I got pregnant in a different house, in an Airbnb to be exact. But what that meant was every 2 hours, I was getting out of bed and going to the bathroom, and I would do my appreciation practice at the toilet. And this was we always complain about where we're at until we realize that God's just like, hey, wake up, look around you, wake up, look around you, wake up. And and in order to wake somebody up, you got to shake them. You got to shake them. You got to say, hey, wake up, wake up. Especially if they're too far down into it, the deeper they're sleeping, the more you got to wake them up. And we complain when the universe puts things on our path that cause us to trip, because hey, that's what's going to wake you up, but you get so mad about it that you don't wake up. So I'm waking up every 2 hours, going to the bathroom, where I have to say I am appreciative for running water, because there was a time, my sister, this is what got me too, it bit me in the butt. I'm the one who started it. I was with my sister at my mom's house, and we were getting water out of the refrigerator. And the refrigerator is very slow, like very slow when you get water. And when I say very slow, it's gushing water to someone who has no water availability in their house. We can just go right to a source of water immediately. I have a cup, I can go to a source of water, boom, it's here. There are people who have to walk miles at the risk of death and rape in order to get water, and then it's like not even clean water, like it could hurt you. Like, and we're like, and she's like, this water takes forever. And she was so, like, her vibration was like like frustration, annoyance, irritated, because the water was coming out at a slower rate than she was used to. And I said, Mallory, there are people who don't have any running water and have to risk death for running water. So maybe we can be grateful that we have clean water. And I told that to her. And then I'm put into a situation where I'm getting up every 2 hours to go to the bathroom and having to appreciate my running water, my toilet, and not be mad and not be angry and go back to bed peacefully for the next 8 months of my life. Although I did actually leave. I don't know. I was in that house pregnant maybe 3 months. I don't know. I wanted to talk about investing in yourself, but I guess this is the investing in yourself. Like, you can immediately do it by just appreciating what is around you, and appreciation appreciates. You're investing in yourself right now listening to this, and you can invest yourself much better if you put into practice what I do and say here, which is to literally appreciate what you've got, make your life lovely, make it so that you want to live in it, and put things that, like, whatever works for you. Like, my house is clean and organized because it allows me to function better. I built the habits to do it, and then now I get to pay people to do it. Like, it's magical, and I have so much more time to be with my baby, to just sit with her. I mean, I spend hours just videotaping her, like watching her walk, watching her grow. Like, I'm obsessed with just watching her. Like, I don't get involved because I just want her to experience the world without someone constantly telling her about it, or telling her to stop, or making her move or do anything different. Like, I want every choice. Hi, are you waking up? I'm talking about you. I'm talking about you. Yeah. I want her to be able to make every decision that she can possibly make. And I don't want to interrupt her learning, and I don't want to interrupt her playing, and I don't want to interrupt her experiencing, and I don't want to insert my opinion on it. Because if she's like, I want to play with this, and I'm like, no, 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 you cannot play with this, I have now asserted an idea, an opinion, something, a rule, uh, something upon her, and she can't just be herself without someone interrupting. And I'll just watch her for a long time. And I've been starting to videotape it because I love it. And I get to do that more because I have invested in other people taking over the things of the time that I don't want to deal with. Are you awake? You're awake. All right. I'm going to head out. I'm going to follow this up. There might be episode 2 or maybe next week or maybe I write it. But Mama's got to go. All right. Love you all. Magic money.